Hello and welcome to FTTR. I am Hugh McQuaid, and if you watched my previous video you might know what my favourite wrestling game of all time is, but in the lead up to Retromania, which is coming out this week, I think, I want to talk about some wrestling games and I want to get your thoughts on some wrestling games. So today I'm going to be talking about my favourite wrestling game of all time. Now this might be a controversial choice, I don't know. Maybe, maybe not, but my favourite wrestling game of all time is Smackdown vs. Raw 2008. Look at it there. Focus? Will it focus? It will not focus. I need to get better at camera work. So why is Smackdown vs. Raw my favourite wrestling game? I think what it really boils down to is the mix of arcadey fun with the sort of booking and the intricacies that go into producing professional wrestling. For example, for the first time, I believe, you get the ECW Extreme Rules match. And that is the one with the weapon wheel, where you can select all the weapons, you can choose what weapons are in there, you know, steel chair, kendo stick. Can you pick the ring bell? No, you can't. But you can pick a guitar, and that's all you need. Who wants to walk with Elias? Yeah. So, yeah, I've lost my train of thought. I'm just so excited to talk about Smackdown vs. Raw 2008, a wrestling game from 13 years ago. But I was playing it recently and I was just like, this is everything that you need in a wrestling game. It's got really great controls. I think this control system where you're using the analog sticks to grapple actually worked really well compared to the button presses that we now have in the 2K games. But on the whole, just the whole experience just flows really well. I like the way you have different commentary teams for different shows. So I think Smackdown has JBL and Michael Cole, ECW has Taz and Jerry Styles, and Raw has JR and Jerry the King Lawler. Just little details like that is stuff that we don't get in current wrestling games, particularly the mainstream ones. Like in the 2K20, you just get, you know, who do you even get? It's just so forgettable. It's just lines that are repeated over and over. Whereas here it really differentiates. You know, they're taking jabs at other shows, saying how the commentaries aren't very good. Yes, you've got the Jerry the King Lawler sort of really inappropriate comments that you shouldn't hear in a game in 2021, but it still just works. It really makes you feel like you are in SmackDown or Raw or ECW. I think another aspect that is really great about this game, and this is the last hurrah because it was the last time it was ever in a game, is GM mode. Now, GM mode is something I miss dearly. It was a terrific game mode. Just the beginning where you can play as, you know, the GM picking which stars you want in the draft. I would just do that on repeat, then play about a week, and then pick another roster because I wasn't happy. It always gives you that replay value. Well, when I was a kid I wasn't playing it properly, but when I'm playing it properly now, I want to make the best shows possible, I want to have the best matches possible, not get the injuries, have the best storylines as well. And you get to hire storyline writers. It's just really, really well done. And I don't understand why they never brought GM mode back in 2K games, because it's the one mode that just sticks out like a sore thumb of not being included. Now, the roster, for me, watching in that era, it's one of my favourite rosters. WrestleMania, I love WrestleMania 23. Absolutely love it. And that is the WrestleMania that this game's built around. So people like, you know, you've got the obvious Undertaker, Batista, Shawn Michaels, Edge, CM Punk, you know, all the top guys basically. Then you've got the Hardys, you've got John, I nearly said John Morrison, then Johnny Nitro. You've got the Cruiserweight, you've got Gregory Helms, who was a bigger fan of. Of course you've got people like, you know, Snitsky, but you've got to have some of them in. It's a well-built roster from top to bottom, really. And actually the graphics are really good, the graphics really hold up. Like, I was playing it the other day and I was like, why does this look better than the 2K games? And I don't know why that is. It's a mix of sort of like the arcadey, more cartoonish physiques of the wrestlers, and then with some really good details added on for the facial expressions. Smackdown vs Raw was just a game, particularly coming after 2007. 2007 was great, but 2008 built on it even more. Coming after that, it was just something that was needed, and it's something that's needed now. A wrestling game like this would do gangbusters. Is that a thing? It would just do really, really well, because I think this is what people want from wrestling games. They don't want too much simulation, but they don't want it to take itself way too over the top, which we've seen with 2K Battlegrounds. There is a fine line, and I think SmackDown vs Raw 2008 walks that line perfectly. So that is my favourite wrestling game of all time. I might go back to playing it now. I hope everyone's enjoyed this video. What are your favourite wrestling games of all time? Let me know down in the comments and I will reply to every single one of them. Thank you all ever so much and have a nice day.